going to make sure that we are, yay, this is being live streamed, and I believe we are live, and it is all happening inside the Connection Hub. But I, of course, am going to trust only with my eyes. There it goes. Wonderful. Welcome, welcome one and all to the wonderful people who I have on the call here. So that includes those that you can see, Tatiana, Purvi, and Reverend Rita is indeed there and in the house as well. And I also have Kaylee with us, and we are expecting Sudhamani and Paul Wilson to join us shortly as well. But we like to be on time for these clarity and connection networking sessions, because everybody gets an allocated little 5 minutes of time, and then to say everything about themselves that they possibly can. And most importantly, and this is where going out into a network of 12,000 plus people is an important thing. You get to make your ask of the community. What do you need? What do you want? What do you want to share? How are you doing what you're doing, and letting us know exactly how we can help you. The purpose of these clarity and connection networking hours and sessions really for us is to ensure that everybody's wisdom can actually get added to yours. So I invite everyone who's live on the call to share any of the links that you've got to how people can connect with you afterwards inside the live chat that is actually going on right now. Kelly is making her apologies. She is on a very important errand for us, and so you get me, and I'm probably going to direct you to a whole bunch of things as we actively go. We say hi to Shiggy, who is out in the land of Facebook. So I'm going to every now and then be looking off to the side, because I'm going to see what we have happening inside Facebook, because the people who are listening may well have the answer to the ask that you have. So that is how the process really works. We set this up because Kelly and I have worked hard to build a really great engaged community inside the Connection Hub, and you've all been members for various amounts of time. And really, we love to put you in front of and get inspired by each other, as well as inspire the community around the things that you're up to and how that actually works. We're finding now, this is the 5th or 6th one of these that we've been doing. We do them twice a month. And we're finding that the collaborations that are starting to happen are really quite juicy and delicious, which is exactly what we wanted to open. So this is going to be the pin post for the whole of the week. So keep coming back in to check in, because different people will watch this on the replay. So if you're doing a hashtag replay, say hashtag replay. If you're joining us live, then say hello live. Right, that's enough of me. I don't want to cut into anybody's time. So what I'm going to do is really hand the floor over. I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes, and I'm going to hand the floor over to whichever one of you wants to go first. So who's that going to be? Okay, Reverend Rita, you are taking the floor. So tell us who you are looking to connect with, and what your ask is. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and you know, sort of how you come to be a speaker, author, coach. Are you a blend? Tell us everything we need to know, but definitely leave yourself time to tell us what your ask is.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you, first of all, for allowing me to be in this wonderful community. Oh my goodness, this is kind of me getting out of my comfort zone, but definitely excited about the connections here, right, in this amazing community. I've just been here a short time, but already I've connected with you guys, and that's awesome, right? I'm Reverend Rita Monique Henderson. I'm a speaker, I'm a self-publishing coach. I am the CEO of Fivefold Christian Publishing, LLC, and I'm a 3-time Amazon best-selling author. But outside of the titles and the accolades, I'm a faith-filled woman on a divine assignment to provide Christian ministers and leaders with the self-publishing strategies, guidance, and resources that they need to turn their stories into influential income-producing books that impact the world, because their stories can and will change lives, right? So in a nutshell, that's what I do. And who I serve is mostly Christian women, a few good men, but Christian women between the ages of 45 and 60 years old. And I teach them, like I said, the self-publishing strategies, give them the guidance and the resources that they need to become self-published authors. And I've been doing it in this space and then out here in what I call these internet streets for almost 3 years, right? And it just happened. And I know I just got 5 minutes, so just give you a little bit of my background. In 2011, July 18, 2011, I worked 28 years. As I was leaving my, what I call good government job, right? The Lord spoke to me, and I don't know how many believers we have in the community, but I'm hoping we have some that can feel, what I'm saying and appreciate it, right? And so I was driving away from there, July 18, 2011. I was over $100,000 worth of debt. My home was being foreclosed on, and I just was in financial bondage. And I heard the voice of the Lord. He told me, he said, today, when you drive away from here today, Rita, he said, don't you ever drive back here again. He said, and I promise you, he said, if you take care of my business, I will take care of all of your business. That was July 18, 2011. That's over 10 years ago. And I've been on what I call this Jesus journey ever since. And so it took me a while to get comfortable in this space, because I didn't know like what was good, being not born and raised in the church, but just kind of coming into it about 2011. I didn't know what I could charge for, what was appropriate, what wasn't appropriate, right? And so about 18 months, it took me to get the clarity, right? Clarity, you get clear and you can get these coins. So it took me about 18 months to get the clarity. And God spoke to me again in that period. And he said, and I was just straddling the fence, and it was very painful. I don't know if you ever been on the fence, and you got to go from, and it was very painful. And the Lord spoke to me. He said, Rita, if it's a gift, it's given. He said, the gift of prayer, the gift of laying on hands, the gift of prophecy, he said, if it's a gift, it's given. If it's a talent, then you charge for it. A talent or a skill, you charge for it. And so I published my first book, from small coins to big bucks, right? Because after 5 years, God had brought me out of all that financial bondage. I mean, just eliminated. I'm talking about eliminated student loans, just miraculously just brought me out of all of that debt. So from small coins to big bucks was my first book. And I wrote it in 3 days. And it was about the 5 strategies that God had given me to have victory in my money. But that wasn't my niche. So it kind of, when I released it, it kind of launched the crickets, right? But it took me some while to find out who my ideal reader was, client, avatar, whatever you want to call her. And once I did, things got better. That was around 2018. I published 2 of my own books. And it was like every skill set that I had, the 28 years of administrative assistant, right? I was a secretary for 28 years mostly. All of the skills just played right into it. So that's what I do. I have a community called the Aspiring Christian Authors Self-Publishing Support Group. It's almost 1,400 people inside the community. And what I need is, I've been doing this 5-day free book writing challenge, and then it goes into the webinar, and then you guys know, then we pitch the offer, right? All of that. So what I need, and this is probably my 5th time doing it, but I won't stop because I know this is what I'm called to do. And every time it gets better and better, right? I need a mindset coach, and I'll tell you what I mean by that in a minute. And I need somebody that specializes in Facebook ads, right? Those 2 things I think that would help me, get over the hump that I'm in, is a mindset coach. And what I want to do is my program is called How to Write and Self-Publish Your Book in 90 Days. And I want to do like module 0, 1, 2, or module 1, 2, 3. And the first module, before I even get into the 7 steps of the book writing process, I want someone to come in and talk to the people about their mindset, preparing them for the process of book writing, right? So I would like somebody to kind of come in and do that, talk about, I don't know, whenever, mindset, motivation type stuff, right? That first week. And then also a Facebook ads person, is because it's just a numbers thing. I know it's just a number thing. My offers have been validated. I've had people purchase them. You understand what I'm saying? I validated this stuff. I just need the numbers. So that's what
Those 2 things. Well, I'm absolutely in love with that. And thank you for being so clear and so succinct. And look at that, timing wise, absolutely perfect. Just got to love a little bit of that and everything. So here is the time. You never know, the resource you need might actually just be in the room. So I'm going to offer that out to the room, because that's always an amazing thing. But the person, interestingly enough, I'm actually at a retreat. I'm about to run my vision board workshop tomorrow at this retreat. And there is a fabulous mindset coach who's doing his magic right now at this retreat, called Will Polston. He's actually here, sort of downstairs, just working working magic right now. So I'm obviously going to tag him because he's very present for me right now because he's just downstairs. And I know that there are many, many mindset coaches inside the group. So if anybody on the call is one of those people for Rita, by all means, actually actively say that, or a Facebook person. There are a couple of people that I'll tag a little bit later, because running the show on my own, tagging and finding and everything else might be a little bit of a stretch for me. So I'm just going to keep to everything here. But Tatiana, Purvi, Kaylee, if you've got anything that's coming in. Kaylee's just saying, I love your whole energy. Wow. Rita and I were just talking about that, right?
Wow. Thank you. Yes.
It's really good. So Purvi, what have you got?
So in terms of a mindset coach, I have used one. And she's been fantastic. So I haven't used her to publish a book, but she herself has, and she's actually published a book called Expecting Entrepreneur, because she wrote this book while 8 weeks pregnant and having quit her corporate job. And that to me just got me as a mother as well. But watch the magic she worked on me in terms of developing my mindset before I started a business has just done wonders. She does timeline therapy, which is a 4-hour therapy session, and it's taking you back, all the way to your childhood and bringing you back and into your future. And that therapy absolutely was, it just spinned everything for me 360 degrees and brought me to where I am today. I don't think my mindset would be at this position if I hadn't done that timeline therapy and her mindset coaching. I will put her name down. Helena, do I put it on here or on the Facebook page?
You can do either. So for those of you who are actually live on the call, feel free to use the chat inside Zoom, so you don't have to actually kind of do the maneuvering that I'm doing. I will copy paste it and pop it into Facebook. And if you want to actually pop it into Facebook afterwards, please go ahead and do that. That would be the best way to do it. So yeah, either way, do both if you wish.
Her name's Lauren Malone, and I'll tag her on here.
Beautiful. And do you know if she's in the Connection Hub? If not, just invite her in.
In fact, I think she recommended the Connection Hub to me, so she probably is.
In which case, Lauren, good on you. Thank you so much. Which is wonderful. In terms of the Facebook ads, I know, like I say, there's a couple of people that I'll tag a little bit later, because we definitely have some of those in here, but as people listen later, that will also work, which is great. So Rita, I think you're gonna definitely, there's something really magical. I really want to highlight this to all the speakers, authors, and coaches who are out there, particularly the authors. That it's more than possible to write a book in 3 days. Goodness me, what's not to love about inspiration that actively comes and taking action directly on that. But the second piece that I really want to pick up on is that gifts versus talent piece, because I think pricing for speakers, authors, and coaches is one of those like, what do I do? Which one do I actually kind of work it on? And to have that delineation of, am I using my skills and talents? Oh, if so, then that's a chargeable thing. And that's a really lovely distinction, I think, that many would like to really embrace, or at least hear. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So welcome. And obviously, Purvi's saying, yeah, so Lauren Malone, great tag. The other thing is Rita, by all means, put the link into your Facebook group so that people can actively kind of join those 1,500 or so, 1,400 or so people inside your group that are niched. And it's a beautiful kind of example of a lovely niche that you've got in there, holding a space for Christian authors to actively come in. And I like a few good men.
Thank you so much, guys.
You are so welcome. Thank you for leading the way. Anybody got anything else to offer? If not, then I will move it around. All right, well, in that case, who wants to go next? Purvi, you're up.
I want to go next because Reverend Rita's energy was superb, and I can't follow it, but I want to kind of swim in it a little bit or dip my toes in it because it's given me that energy now. So thank you. Okay, so my name is Purvikay. Professionally, I'm a qualified aerospace engineer, and I currently work for the UK government as a senior leader in cybersecurity. Within work, I'm also a strong advocate for diversity and inclusion, so I often get invited to speak at panel events. I'm also a career mentor, and I mentor other professionals within government, within the security profession. One of my most rewarding and fulfilling and challenging responsibilities to date, no doubt, is being a mother to 2 toddlers. I have a 4.5-year-old boy and a 2-year-old boy who definitely keep me on my toes, but keep life adventurous and very, very interesting indeed. So about a year ago, I was reflecting on life, as you do, and I came to the conclusion that every aspect of my life, I'm very content in it. I'm very fulfilled. I've kind of achieved everything I wanted to. And a lot of people say to me that's a very rare conclusion to draw up. And though I felt like, in my personal life, being happily married and a mom, I have family around me, I have friends around me, I have a superb career that I absolutely love, I felt something was missing. And after a bit of thinking, I realized that, I've had this passion of helping people realize their full potential. And throughout my life, I figured that somehow, in some way, I always ended up helping somebody. And I'm still in touch with all those people, and they've done really well in their lives. And they sort of have said some of the things I did for them have helped towards that. And I felt like that passion is what I want to turn into my purpose now. Everything else in my life up to now has been superb. The next chapter needs to be something for others. And so earlier this year, I set up my coaching business called Darcy Coaching.
Great.
This is also a tribute to my father, who I lost 10 years ago. And he was a man of service. He was one who helped everyone in any way he could. And so Darcy Coaching is really a legacy in tribute to my father as well. So through that, I am looking to help other professionals. And my tagline is empower, elevate, evolve. Because through Darcy Coaching, I'm looking to empower other elite, ambitious professionals to elevate their mindset in their career or in their business, and to evolve their lives to be as fulfilling and purposeful as they've always dreamed it to be. So some of the things that I help these professionals with is, in terms of career, I help them get that career clarity. Are you really doing something that you really, really want to do? Is your career aligned to your life's purpose or to your values? So giving them that clarity, helping them search for that ideal job, helping them with optimizing their CVs so they stand out from the crowd, helping them with interview confidence so that they nail the interview and they can walk out of the interview holding their head high and knowing they've done their best. And then I help them through promotion, progression, and thrive in the career. I want to expand that into the business arena, where I want to help people find that ideal business, that turning their passion to purpose as well. The branding, the marketing, the ideal client, the whole cycle of starting up a business. But my specific ask for today is around a program that I'm launching next year, which is a mentoring program for women specifically. In my coaching, I don't just work with women, but this mentoring program is going to be for women. And what I'm looking for is to connect with 3 types of people. One is a mother who has been out of work for a while and wants to get back into the career or start her own business, but doesn't know where to start. So I want to help that individual. 2, I'm looking for moms who have gone back into work, but are not finding their work-life balance. They're not really thriving in their career, and they just don't know how to change that. And 3, I'm looking for a mom who has got a thriving career, but like me, something's missing, and they want to turn one of their passions into purpose and start their own business on the side, but they feel that they might have to compromise their personal life or career in starting their business. I want to help these women to understand they can have it all. You can have a career, you can have a business, you can have a fulfilling parenthood experience without having to compromise anything.
Amazing. And you're looking for these people to, and by the way, you've nailed it, 8 seconds to go. Like, you guys are like either rehearsing or you're doing something amazing. You just know your time. It's great. It makes me happy. So Purvi, a couple of clarifying questions for me. So you're looking for people to participate. Is this a full-on program, a paid program? For how long does it go on?
Yeah. So this program is a 3 to 6 month program. Now, the reason why I haven't detailed out every aspect of it is because I want to speak to these individuals for research purposes, number one. I want to understand their position. I want to understand why they're in that position, what help and support do they need, and what sort of a mentoring program would take them to their destination. That would help me develop and design this mentoring program specifically so that I do get positive outcomes. So the reason for connecting with them is getting that information from them, developing the program. And secondly, if they're interested in joining the program in the new year, then there's a waiting list I've opened up that they can sign up for as well.
Yeah, so I'm asking the same question as Rita here, which is how many people, and so it's more like a beta kind of launch in some way, and you're looking to kind of survey people. And I am just going to say this before you answer that, which is Kaylee, who I'm being Kaylee's voice. She's saying, we have a lot in common, Purvi. I've helped hundreds of job seekers secure roles through CV writing and interview impact coaching. I'm a mum, ex-corporate of 20 years. So who knows, there might actually be a conversation there as
Yes,
a starting
absolutely.
point.
Absolutely, Kaylee. Definitely would like to connect with you.
Great. So yeah, so back to this. So it'd be a little bit like a beta group, and how many people maximum are you looking for? And then I'll talk to you about seed launches.
So I'm looking for a minimum of 6 people, and it's an even number because I want to buddy them up as well.
Great. And so the thing I'm going to say to both of you, and Rita, I sort of forgot to say this, but it always comes up anyway. So most of you know that inside the Connection Hub, we've set up specific hashtags to really help people do the connections that they're actually kind of looking for. So for both of you, hashtag call out is a really good thing that you can do. So I would suggest that, as well as detailing the people that you need, the Facebook ads person, the mums, etc., detail who those people are, but put a separate post into the Connection Hub at large, making it detailed enough. And I cannot emphasize this enough to anyone who puts a hashtag call out to say, this is what I'm looking for, this is why I'm looking for it, and this is by when I actively need it. It really helps to hone the responses that you get, because I'm sure that you've all seen when we do a hashtag opportunity, hundreds of people may well come your way, which is a great problem to have at times, and you still need to be prepared for it. So the more specific you can get with an ask, the better it actively is. I'm also going to suggest, Purvi, I don't know whether you know, so we have nearly sort of 200 plus kind of trainings inside the guides. One of those is actually around how to do what Jeff Walker calls a seed launch. So we actively have a training in the that I'll post afterwards, because there's always a training on that somewhere. But that might be a really good thing that allows you to understand how that beta program might actively work, just so that you can get more feedback on there. The other thing I'm going to suggest to you is surveying people, sort of, because it sounds like you have actually got some questions in there that actively work too. So, what are the questions you want answered? So that's my take on it. Anything from anyone else that might help Purvi, or indeed people that you can connect to Purvi? No.
Well, that's why I was asking, was it like a beta type group? And then how many women did she need? And so 6 women, because I do have a 1 or 2 women in mind that would be, I'm thinking maybe good for the beta group.
That would be amazing.
Okay. That would be great. Yes.
All right. I will be in touch though, in the Facebook group, and
yes,
once we post it.
Well, thank you.
Love a little bit of that. How amazing. And there's something in there for Purvi around it. So whenever you have an ask, whenever anybody has an ask, Tatiana, I see you. So whenever anybody has an ask, being sure to have that information to hand so that somebody can, on your behalf, say what the thing is a really good thing. So you might even want to craft that little 60-second blurb or the copy paste bit that is hey, my friend Purvi is looking for this kind of fits the bill, is a really, really great way of doing it. I'm being flexible with time at the moment because, hey, what's not to love about, people have given you a little bit more space. Tatiana, what have you got for Purvi?
I would like to ask if you are ladies working internationally or it's only UK specific, because I don't know where you are.
No, anywhere in the world, I'm happy to help.
All right. So then I will, because I work internationally, but I'm kind of like most of my clients are in Northern America and Europe.
Amazing. Well, in that case, that also works.
I'll
And
keep it in mind.
yeah, say that again.
I will keep it in mind.
Okay,
Thank you.
And I have one other question. Is there, my daughter, I have a 30-year-old, so I'm not, I'm a mom, but not necessarily an ideal, woman for your beta group. What ages would you say the kids should be, the children?
So for me, it's not the age, it's actually a new mom almost,
Okay.
they have probably got kids under the age of 10.
Gotcha.
great. Really good. So that's exactly the kind of information that actually the more specific we get, and so I'm always going to put my teach hat on, right? So the more specific we get about the ask that we have, the easier it is. Kaylee's just actually saying that she's Netherlands based, so her clients are in the Middle East and Europe mostly, so it may just be that there's some synergy there, but I suspect that the two of you even having a conversation around language and around how to get specific with things really work. Rita, I am just going to say Nick Wood is listening in, and Nick was actually one of the people I was going to tag in terms of your Facebook ads person. So he does some really delicious stuff that might also be useful for your authors. So Nick, you need to go back and listen to Rita's bit at the beginning of this, but the two of you should definitely connect, partly from the Facebook ads perspective, but also because Nick does some really great interviewing. For those of you who've watched the Clarity and Connection sessions, he was actually on 2 sessions ago, so that might also be a really good connection right there, which is good. So it's all starting to happen, which is great. Good. Anything else from anyone else? Or Purvi? No, so we're good. All right.
Thank you.
Kaylee, I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to hand it over to Tatiana. I'm going to ask you this question and kind of do would you like to kind of speak via voice so that we can at least hear you? Is that your plan? Oh, sounds like there's typing going on. It's quite exciting. There we go. That's exactly what I thought. So there is no voice. So I'm just going to be Kaylee's voice, and bless her, she's got some sinus and throat issues. So here's the thing. Kaylee's actually going to get that specificity going in the posts that actively come in. And Kaylee, even if you get a voice a couple of days down the line and do a little Facebook Live or a little video, I'll let it through. How about that? That might actually be the way to do it in the, do that, pop the video into the feed so that people actually get a real sense of you, because that would just be a great way to do it, because there's always a way around, isn't there? We just need to kind of go a little bit expansive and see what's possible. So on that note, we're likely to circle back around in all sorts of ways. Great. Nick's just actually kind of is going to watch back and has messaged you, Rita. So you might already have 2 ticks in the box right now. So Tatiana, I'm going to hand it over to you. We'll pop the clock on and then we'll see what happens. Hi.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
So speaking of the expansion, I work with female entrepreneurs, women who are living on that dream, and they might be realizing the dream and they achieved some level of success in their business, right? So I don't work with beginners. So I work with female entrepreneurs, right? And I am a hypnotherapist and a coach, and I'm also an intuitive. And my specialty is, my background is in trauma, and of course, a personal story to go with it, right? When we're given a journey and a mission, we are given a journey to that mission. So basically, when I started my business, I had how I discovered hypnotherapy. I realized I had a huge transformation and healing. And I also, by the way, do something very similar to the timeline regression, because I do the regression type of hypnosis combined with coaching and the mindset and stuff. So when I started my work and I had a transformation with hypnosis, I was on a mission. I wanted to change the world because nothing else worked, and it changed my life. So I had this dream and I had a purpose, and all the self-doubts and fears and everything started coming up, even though I had a dream, wanted to change the world, right? And my biggest one was fear of visibility. So doing this was not possible. I would have like a vocal cord kind of closure situation and panic attack kind of fear. So, and as entrepreneurs, when we started our businesses, we were told to focus on strategy and mindset. And I realized very quickly that we are mislabeling things a lot of times, because particularly with imposter syndrome and fear of visibility, especially when it's that intense, and both because I specialize with emotional healing and trauma work for confidence and visibility blocks now. And the reason why is the personal journey. So when I had this fear of visibility and all the imposter and self-doubts and everything issues, and I would even suggest that money blocks are more often than not connected to trauma. When I realized we're mislabeling things because we think it's a mindset issue, when in fact it's trauma related. And our mindset issues, the root causes of them are often in emotional relationship issues and wounds and trauma. And then I embarked on the journey because I was on this trial and error process and nothing worked. I got in $15,000 in debt and I almost went to my old job and quit my dream, but I knew what I knew how to do best, and I improvised and innovated. And I started realizing that the trauma that I'm experiencing and all these responses, because we all know what mindset, like there are really mindset issues, yes, but we kind of all know how to think and what to think, but we can't stick to it. And when it's a chronic thing, and we've tried years and years of mindset and years of other things and studied all the strategies and business and marketing things, but we still bump into a block, it's a deeper issue. And this is what I realized. And I realized we are mislabeling things. So I went and got educated in trauma, more classical route. And meanwhile, I realized that trauma, and it's not an event that happens to us, but how we process it in the body, right? It overwhelms the nervous system. It's an event and we don't have a support. So it's not something, it's not like a war in some country, anything really, because it's so individual based on our resilience and nervous system, anything can become trauma. And this is the problem. And trauma lives in the body, not just the brain. And when I started intuitively developing a methodology, when I started working from the bottom up, from the body and the intelligence and the memory that's stored in the neurocircuitry and neurochemistry, and changing that and working with trauma from the bottom up, I realized versus the top down, the more masculine approach, because of all our industries with therapy and psychoanalysis and coaching and NLP and hypnotherapy were created by men, and they think it's the mind. But when I started doing it the other way through the body and the emotional healing, and then from the bottom up versus trying to think and like break our brain, trying to think differently for years, I realized that when we do it from the bottom up, it naturally changes the mindset. Now, I'm not saying, ladies, that mindset is not important, and gentlemen, whoever is watching, mindset is important. There are really mindset issues. But when we are bumping into the same things again and again, and when there is really strong fear, and it's safety related, right? When we're afraid of being seen and exposed, my case, right? Visibility, we're afraid of wealth, we're afraid of success. All of this is unsafe in our body. This is when we have a problem. So my ask is, so I'm planning to teach this method, and I'm working currently in hybrid and one-on-one basis. My ask is, I'm trying to expand my collaborations and affiliate relationships.
Great.
And I'm looking for what the overlapping specialist I might need to consider. Right. And my second ask would be, apart from the podcast route, what else can I try? Like summits. I don't know anything about this yet, right? So I worked with trauma. I worked with referrals for years.
Great.
So this type of
okay. So
questions.
I have a couple of things for you. So with the podcasts and the summits, if you don't know much about them, there is one of the trainings that we did a fantastic interview with, of course, there's a training on that. But as a bit of inspiration, we did a fabulous interview with Jenny Wright, probably about a year and a bit ago now, which still is really valid around how you actively really work with summits and how you can make summits work for you, because you know, it's not enough to just speak about it. It's also about having the clarity of the offer that you're going to make. Where do people actually lead to? My favorite question, our favorite question, is who has, and this is going to help you with your affiliate thinking, but also with where do I go and speak? Where do I speak into, and what is my purpose in speaking? So the first one of those is, who has my customer before me or after me? And that's relevant for every single one of us. So if you start to make a list around where those people are hanging out, if I know that those people, you know, they may well have tried money mindset coaches, and actually they're still stuck in that, for example. So who are the money mindset coaches in the Connection Hub, elsewhere, that actively might be? And that's partly because you just talked about money mind blocks. So you know, so there's a, what else has this person tried that might actually, you know, what would they have been looking for that leads them into something? Or once you're done with them, where do they go? Where, you know, when they're actually then flying, where do they go? Who do they look for? So if you get an idea of, you know, who has my customer before me or after me, then you go to, and who serves those people. That's where you then start your reach out around, hey, I'd like to create a partnership, a connection with you. And of course, there's a training on this as well. There's a, you know, sort of, there are 3 layers of, hang on a second, I need to write down what I'm actually kind of saying. I'm just going to go through all my trainings and actually kind of say what I'm going to do. But
thank you so much. You're amazing.
Thank you. You're welcome. You know, we aim to kind of really make it easy for speakers, authors, and coaches to really just have the resources on hand that you need. So there's something about, how do I develop partnerships? So we did recently, probably about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, an in-depth kind of training on the partnerships and what you need to ask, how you might actually look at doing it, because there may well be that some of these people are affiliates for you. Purvi, this is relevant for you as well. Rita, this is relevant for you. And I'm sure that Kaylee, again, this is the, you know, this one comes up a lot for speakers, authors, and coaches. How do I make the connections? We named it the Connection Hub for a reason. How do I make the connections that help me grow my business? And so you know, so it's like having that specific piece in there. Oh, I don't know where that noise is coming from. That's really quite fun. Oh, might be in Kaylee's room, because the microphones that are kind of in there. So there's a training on partnerships and what you need to ask, what you need to think about. So is it a partner, is it an associate, or is it an affiliate? Because those 3 relationships are actually different. So you might actually go and speak on a podcast and maybe do an affiliate deal with somebody as far as that goes. You might speak on a summit where they're actually promoting something that you have in some way. So I point you at both of those things. So the interview we did around podcasts, around summits with Jenny Wright, and then the training that we did on the partnerships from a tiny little while ago. So I will dig both of those out for you, which is really great. And the other thing that really kind of occurs to me is getting really clear on what your path is. And I'm pretty certain you must have this. So what is the easiest way for people to get in touch with you? So that's what I'd love for you to kind of share, either in the chat, certainly in the chat, but also how you want people to come through to you. Is that helpful?
Yeah. And right at the top of my mind, and what I've been doing is, for example, overlapping specialists who know that their client is struggling with whatever they're trying to implement because there is a deeper root cause.
Beautiful.
And we are unfortunately trauma not educated and informed enough across industries, but when it's like a very stubborn block, it's whether it's with money, with visibility or confidence. Even the imposter syndrome, I developed a whole theory on how it connects to transgenerational trauma.
Great, amazing. So put that blog in here for sure. and again, so that people can get more of a sense of you. So part of why we love doing these sessions now is because actually there are resources that actively come in. Oh, Kaylee's just going to disappear because she's an hour ahead because she's in the Netherlands. She's going to go and get her son from school. Really nice to connect. She's saying you are welcome, so welcome for the space that this provides, and I'm excited to see. There we go. So the connection details are in here. I'm not going to copy paste that, Kaylee, into the Facebook group because I'm looking forward to actually meeting you in a little video that you're going to post when your voice comes back somewhere in the week, which is delightful. So thank you so much for being here. And yes, go get your son. It's very important. So Tatiana, back to what you were saying. And again, I'm using you for everybody else because it's such an important thing around the partners that you're actively doing. So get really descriptive around, sort of like, so definitely post the blog in here around what's around imposter, because that's always a good fun one. But also get really specific around, okay, well, what does it look like? So if I'm a coach, if I'm a business coach, and somebody keeps knocking up against this, what are the symptoms? And so Purvi, I'm saying this loudly for you so that you can start to put these questions in. What are the symptoms I'm seeing in my client? What are the things that are recurring that indicate to me that they have the kind of problem that Tatiana can solve? So that actually kind of hopefully will help a little bit. If I'm teaching you to suck eggs, I apologize, but somebody somewhere will love that little piece of information, right? Anybody got anything else for Tatiana around, sort of Rita, I'm suspecting that some of your people may even kind of have that hesitation, or are they beyond that? They've already committed to writing?
Yeah, for the most part, they've already committed to writing and they have the desire. The mindset type of coach that I need more specifically is just dealing with their emotional issues as it relates to, because writing a book, you have to have the emotional intelligence because it brings up all types of memories, trauma. Like Tatiana spoke about different trauma and stuff like that. But they already pretty much know that they have to write this book, and the reasons why, more so they need to deal with keeping it all together, how they deal with their family. I've had clients or authors that start writing a book, especially this one. This author wrote this book, There's No Sign in My Screen, Drugs, Truth, and Faith. It talks about her 17-year drug addiction.
Wow.
And her family, like, well, what are you saying in there? What are you doing? This client, she talked about her childhood abuse at home and so it brought up a lot of the siblings get angry, the moms, the parents sometimes get angry, the family gets angry, like, what are you putting in the book, what are you talking about? So dealing with those types of things.
And here's what I'm finding interesting. So Tatiana, I don't know where your thinking went, but the other thing I'm going to offer to every speaker, author, coach, whether you're an author or a coach who is also doing speaking, because we always talk about you being a blend, sort of, because actually it's all the same. Yes, the skill sets are different, but actually you need to be doing all three. There's something here around the stories and the titles that you can offer out to the different podcasts, because I heard your question around the podcasts and summits. Mm-hmm. So what are the actual titles of the talks that allow you to build your reach? What are the stories that you actively can tell? So have you also got, and of course we've got a training on this, the speaker one sheet that you actively have that is a listed, these are the topics that I talk on, because you want to be in a position where whenever you are having a conversation with someone, you go, these are the 3 topics that I mostly talk about. These are the 3 talks that really land. This one works for this audience. This one tends to work for that audience. So have you got that in place, Tatiana? Yeah. Awesome. Amazing. So please, again, pop all of those things into the feed that actively goes. And like I say, it's going to sit there most people watch on the replay, so it's going to sit there for the whole week. So keep on kind of having that, and outline, be blatant about it. You know, you three get a spotlight on you at the moment, and Kaylee as well. So outline, you know, these are the kinds of podcasts I would really, really love. I think I said this to somebody the other day inside our Changemaker Central membership. Make a list of the top 20. No, it was somebody I was doing a Get Unstuck call for. So like a little 15-minute fix, a little bit like this, but, you know, sort of holding a space for that. And they too were wanting, you know, sort of to go down the podcast route. How do I increase my reach in some way? My offering is definitely to make the list of, you know, what are my dream top 20 interviews, podcasts to actually be seen and heard on? And so I'm going to invite you to do that at 2 levels. Go big and go 2022. So you can do the, yes, please, I would like it to be Oprah, whatever, you know, sort of whoever you're actually kind of, whoever in your niche and industry is like the pinnacle of everything, go for that. But then also use the hashtag opportunities, look at the podcasts that are even available inside the Connection Hub and elsewhere, Podcast Nation, those types of things, you know, sort of there are quite a few Facebook groups that are out there. You obviously like hanging out on Facebook, so here we are. So go join some of those and actually go, who has the podcast who has my customer before me or after me, or who's just interesting that works in this way, and make your top 20, and then start to reach out, because 6 degrees of separation probably isn't a truth anymore. Great play, but probably not a truth. It's like 3 degrees of separation, because you literally can put out a hashtag call out. Does anybody know Bob Smith or whoever it is that you're looking for? And that actually may just get you that. But also just writing it down and starting to make the effort really works. Jana Willoughby, oh, I've forgotten what her hyphenated surname is. Jana Willoughby, I'm just going to call her that for now. I said this to her about 18 months ago or so. She made a list of the top 50. I think she's managed to nail about 40 of them by now, which is really great, right? You've got to love a little bit of that, because that's what gives you focus. In the Vision Board workshop I'm talking about, you know, I'm running tomorrow, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. So you've got to get clarity around whose podcast do I want to be on? What summit would best show me off? So, you know, I'm aware that there was a really great, there were 2 focused heavily on sort of traumas that I know happen on a yearly basis, summits that actually happen in October, one in September, one in October. So it's actually worth, and this is what I'm going to say for everyone, forward planning and actually finding out, okay, well, what happened this year that might happen next year that I'm actually going to prepare myself for. Is that helpful? Nice. I've gone into teach mode again. I can't help it. Kelly and I both fall into teach mode. I'm not even going to apologize for it, because that's just wrong, right? Oh, Tatiana, I can't hear you.
I know, I was just whispering. I said, me too.
Oh, you were. That's good, but that works really well. So anything else from anyone else on the call? Is there anything that you've been sparked? What are you going to do as a result of this? Tell me.
Well, I'm just excited about the connections already. Laura Malone, I've already checked out her Facebook page. Thank you, Privy. And Nick has already contacted me. I've already had friend requests and all of the things are already going on. So,
amazing.
Yeah, I like this community. I've only been in it, I don't know, a short time, it seems, maybe 4 or 5 weeks, maybe. Great. And I like it. I've connected with some of the the podcasters inside the community already.
Great. Well, you know, that's what we live for, right? And it really is. If you haven't made use of the training sessions, they're there. They're kind of, you know, we design them so that we can help speakers, authors, and coaches actually get to the important bits. And I know that's, I am not belittling the training that we've got, because it's awesome and that makes me feel a bit arrogant, but they are really good. So I'm just going to say that they're just really good, and I'm just going to own that, right? And they're designed to be really good because what we really want is to raise the level of consciousness through speakers, authors, and coaches like yourselves, because the passion in you is just amazing. And when I say you, I'm talking to the 3 of you, but I'm actually talking to the 12,000 that are in here. And Tatiana's just asking, are those trainings in the guides? They most definitely are. So this connection call will go into its own little section in there, but we have a guide section on mindset. So Rita, you might even want to go and look at that. So you can get to the guides depending on whether you're watching on the web or not, but you can get to the guides from pretty much anywhere. But marketing, mindset, actually running the business, for those of you who are scared of the financials, we did one of those as well, because what we really want to do is help you understand what the basics are in your business and why you might need something, so that, you know, Kelly's and my aim really is to help you run the speaker, author, coach business so that it works on your terms, so that you actually fit it in around being a mum, or you actively kind of throw yourselves in because you're a night owl, or, you know, whatever it is, or indeed the nomadic kind of version of you, because Tatiana, you're currently in Croatia and you normally live
Everywhere. I'm a nomad, a digital nomad. Yeah.
Amazing, right? And so it's really around that's proper on your terms, and terms for us means how you're spending your time, your energy, your resources, and your money. So and your skills. So, you know, how are you actually doing this? So Purvi's coming to visit you in Croatia by the looks of things. She's loving Croatia, so that's good. But for us, it's really about ensuring that you have the information that you need so that we can then help you do the stuff that you really want, which is expand your reach, get more seen, and really grow the business in a way that works for you. So if anyone listening hasn't checked out the guides, please go and check out the guides, and or even better, just put a hashtag call out or a little curious Q&A. Hey, is there a training on this thing? Or is there a, you know, can I connect with such and such a person? So again, I'm saying that to you 3, and I'm saying it to everybody, because that's what the community is about. Yeah, I'm glad you're experiencing it as a good thing. So on that basis, any more requests? Because hey, I've got a whole 7 minutes that you can make requests on, because why not?
Very useful, Helena. Thank you so much for all the tips. Can I just ask, when we go away, if there's a lot to digest, lots to process and implement, if we come back and we have a specific question, you mentioned a 15-minute get unstuck call.
I did indeed. Hang on 2 seconds. Let me go and I haven't actively got that link to hand, but I will do in about 3 heartbeats, because I can do that, because that's the kind of person that I am. So the get unstuck calls, we actually put those in, and they usually are me, because I really like the 15-minute fix. So if you think about it from this perspective, hang on, I can't type and actually, there we go, beautiful. So they are, you know, you book it in for the Calendly on the calendar, bring anything to it. It'll ask you 3 or 4 questions around what are you stuck on, and we just get laser focused, and I will specifically, a little bit like I've done here, but I will specifically support you to know what the next steps are that actively go on. So feel free. It would be a joy and a delight to host anybody. So they are only for people who are in the Connection Hub. They're not kind of for public consumptions as such, but they actively go in here. So I'm just going to pop it in here in the Facebook group, and I'm going to pop it in the chat, which is good. Wow, look at that, it's done.
Thank you for that.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. You know, sometimes we just need someone else's perspective or perception to, or indeed knowledge or skill, to just tweak it a little bit, and for you to go, oh, I know how to take action now. So that's the whole purpose behind the Get Unstuck call. It's just to kind of, you know that old story around, you know, the $10,000 invoice, where you go tweaking, you know, sort of like you know, the twisting of the nailing of the hammer, I'm really making a hash of this story. Wow, if somebody can tell it better than me, I'm really happy to. But you know, it's that whole kind of like, you know, the breakdown of the invoice, it's 10,000, but you only like knocked a thing. It's like, yes, knocking the thing is $1, but like knowing where to actually knock the nail in is the thing that costs the money, you know. So sometimes it is just that perception thing. They're free, by the way. I'm not actually saying that they're $10,000. I'm just going to say that. But sometimes just having that perspective, or having someone actually say, 9 times out of 10, I will of course send you off to a training, because actually there will be a training around that, and it just helps to do that. Interestingly, the last one of these that we did, the one that was on the 2nd of November, I'm very aware that the 6 of them who were on the call, so the Jenny, Rita, I've tagged Eva Karen in here as well, because she does some really cool stuff around mindset. So she was on the last one, or the last one but one. They've actually formed a little mastermind all of their own. So that's the power of what we're actually up to here. So I really recommend it. Yes, go and book one in and see when we can call. It's good. Nick's actually saying, I might need one of those. Nick, you get us every week on a Monday inside Changemaker Central membership, because you're a member in there, and we get the hashtag, you know, sort of like the ask us anything in there, which is also good. So, okay, I'm going to do it this way because we've got 3 minutes left. Rita, what have you liked best about this session?
Oh my goodness, it was, I like it because it was early for me, and I have the most energy early. You know, catch me after 3 p.m. Eastern and it's like downhill. So, and I just like the vibe. It's a great vibe here. Yeah, I love it.
Thank you for contributing to the vibe, because I think it takes one to know one in your case, which is really cool. Tatiana, what have you liked best?
I think you're doing amazing things in the world, and I'm just grateful. And I found the group a while ago, but I didn't know there were all these perks and extra things. And yeah.
Amazing. In which case, so again, if anybody's finding themselves in Tatiana's shoes around, I didn't know all of these things were actually in place, then go and check out the welcome video. It's always kind of pinned to the top. Go and check out the welcome video or the welcome posts. Any one of the thanks for connecting posts that we do 2 or 3 times a week whenever we invite new people in. In that, we'll detail out all the different hashtags, the supporting resources, et cetera, so you can go and kind of revisit those as well. So we really want the Connection Hub to be a go-to resource for you all. So yeah, that works beautifully, and you're welcome. And I love to hear that. And Purvi, what have you liked best?
2 things. 1, to be connected with like-minded and really passionate people. And 2, the actionable insights you've given us to go, like, I've got so much work to do, basically. But I love that I've come out of this with all those insights and things to put in place and action on. So that's just wonderful. Thank you.
Love. Amazing. Well, on that note, I'm going to wrap us up. If you are on the hashtag replay, please, all of the people who you've heard from today, and including Kaylee, will be putting in links. Go check them out, and I'll be pinning this post for the week, as I say, so that you can listen to it. The 3 of you here, the 4 of you, by all means, come back in and keep adding in all the resources that you've got. Throw it all in here, because we love a little spotlight on people in themselves. And I just wish to thank you for playing full out. And yes, we'll see what happens inside the hub. Thank you. Right. I am.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. So welcome. Have a productive, effective, efficient day, everybody.
Thank you very much.